Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to another update on this Thursday night, first day of February 2024, about 10:26 p.m. here, California time. Still showing quite a bit of earthquake activity ramping up there across the Hot Caves, Hawaii station there. That's just south of the Kilauea volcano. Looks like a 2.1 coming in. Goodness, this has just been an ongoing event. As of right now, still no eruption yet. So let's go ahead and check it out, see what's going on out here. Goodness, coming up on, well, 350 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. It's a decent number, but I'm sure there's probably actually a lot more than this. This is just what's being reported and verified. Still noticing here, and I'm still pointing this out, that we're seeing a migration here of the magma that's below the surface to the south. Now they're changing their wording a little bit here. I just got a little notification here from the USGS. This is a volcano status update that was just put out a short time ago, 0514 UTC time. So that would be 0514. Okay, so about an hour or so old. Kilauea volcano is currently not erupting. The ongoing seismic swarm continues, with most earthquakes occurring beneath the fault zone 5 to 8 miles southwest of the caldera, the Kilauea caldera. They're talking about 15 to 20 earthquakes per hour in this region for most of the day. Now, the interesting part here is there's been a significant amount of lava that has been intruded. Magma, right? Magma that has been intruded south and southwest of the Kilauea caldera since Saturday. Models suggest an accumulation of much as 40 million cubic yards, that's 30 million cubic meters, in the region to the southwest of the caldera during this event. As long as this intrusion continues, there is a chance that an eruption could occur within or southwest of the caldera with little advance warning. So I'm still leaning towards that we're going to see this open up just outside the caldera area. It's been migrating quite nicely here, more towards the south than anything. But we're also noticing a broader scale out here. Hopefully this isn't turning into some type of explosive event, which Kilauea has had. Not recently. We covered that a while back. Not going to dig into that right now, but if you look up historical explosive events there at Kilauea volcano, they have happened in the past. Not recently, but definitely can create some explosive events out here. Again, all this earthquake activity pointing here south around the southwest rift zone, and this is where I'm still counting that that this eruptive fissure activity will take place. So let's see what we got here for some information. Let's go back over here and see what we got across the board. I've been looking at these maps all day, and it's crazy. They did get some of the, they actually got the seismograph stations fixed here. I believe the gentleman's name in the IT department is Michael, and message him. Timothy's been messaging him as well. He works there in the IT department there at the USGS. So that's good. Michael Randall is his name. Pretty cool guy, very nice, and got back to me right away as far as the questions that I had today. So earthquake activity continuing here. Seismograph station, let's check this out, see what we got. Look at this activity. Goodness. Look at all these earthquakes. There's no telling how many there is on here. If you think, just take one line here, and there's probably 30 earthquakes or more in one line. And you look at all these, if you were to multiply all these lines, you could probably guess the number. Some of these earthquakes are getting larger as well. But that is a lot of earthquake activity occurring here in the last just the 12 hours. Tilt meter. Obviously, tilt meters have gone kind of crazy, so to speak. This is the past 2 days here. Notice a sharp drop in deflation. I think what happened here, let me see. Do I have that image still put up here? I don't. Is this it? Oh, Okay, I think what's going on is, we've noticed here over the past few months, tilt, elevated inflation rising and rising here around the Summit magma reservoir. I think there may have been a blockage at some point here, creating, and over here as well, creating that elevated inflation and finally made its way through with enough pressure. And that's why we're seeing that magma head off to the southwest rift zone as indicated here on the earthquake map. And that's why we've seen all the tilt meters go down like this. It was super pressurized, right? This is the last month, last 30 days here. We've been watching each step here of inflation, come in. We've been chatting about that a lot in our past videos. But look at this. All of a sudden, boom, we didn't see any type of eruption. So the only outlet that I can think of is that it finally made its way through an area that had a blockage, and now we're seeing that magma migrate to the southwest, where I firmly believe that we'll see an eruption take place, eruptive fissure activity. So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, that's a huge drop-off here in terms of inflation. It didn't build at the Summit region. Summit and East Rift Zone dropped like a rock here. So that means that magma is no longer being pressurized specifically right there at that region, but more so out here across the southwest rift zone. And that is key to watching, this soon-to-be eruptive activity. At first, they were saying, no, there's really no signs of anything going on out here in the south. That it's going to be confined to the crater area, but I don't think so. It doesn't make sense that we would see that up here with all this migration going on southwestward. So kind of an interesting scenario. Just watching this play out. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but this is just my guess that we're going to see activity there. All right, webcam imagery. I don't think we got anything going on, but we'll double check that here real quick. Here's the summit area. This is from, that looks recent. This area is always going to show some type of thermal heated imagery. It's still obviously some warmer conditions down there below this area of the caldera of the summit region. But I really haven't noticed any increased gases, increased inflation, increased earthquake activity. It just seems like something's that's not going to happen up here this time. And that's the summit region, East Rift Zone. It's all dark here, so we can't really see too much activity at all. So, in that light, I'm not for sure what it is. It kind of looks like something glowing out there. But who knows? Like I say, it's a little dark out there. So we'll continue to watch it and report back on when it happens. And again, the latest station that I have to watch this activity is around the Hot Caves, Hawaii area. If you bring these down, watch these earthquakes pop up out of the blue, right? The larger quakes are going to be up here in the higher amplitude range, about 200. I think that one was a, what was that, at 0619? Let's see here, 0619. So that would probably be right here at 3.3. So all these other ones, 2.2, 2.5, 2.4, are going to be here in this range. You kind of have to remove the larger quake here to see some of the smaller quake activity pop up. But there's a lot. I mean, look at this. Within the last, 24, 30, there's a lot of earthquake activity. There's no doubt something that I haven't seen in quite a while without an eruption. So keep an eye on this. This has been going on here for, about 3 days now? I'm thinking it's about 3 days. There's definitely a lot more earthquake activity than 1,000 earthquakes here. That's a lot if you really think about it. But in one of their latest updates there, they mentioned that there was about 1,400 or so since about the 27th, and that was on yesterday's update. So imagine how many is taking place today. Probably well over 2,000 earthquakes or so in the last few days across this area. I'd like to get a total count, but again, I don't know if they're going to count all these single little bitty quakes that are popping up. but it's still earthquake activity, right? Okay, let's see here. What else we got for worldwide earthquake activity? We'll back out of here real quick. It's definitely an interesting scenario going on. The states out here getting return of earthquake activity out in the Pecos, Texas region, typical down there. In the oil fields, Yellowstone National Park, it looks like some smaller quake activity from earlier. Just for fun here, I need to double check this and make sure we don't have any swarming going on here. I don't see any unusual activity, no major earthquake movement. All the seismograph stations here look calm. Into the Pacific Northwest, looks like one earthquake outside of the White Center, Washington area. 24 kilometer deep earthquake here in the Seattle area. Did I create a new word there? It's been a long day. I was out. Aside from school stuff, I was out kind of chasing some storms out here today. We had a lot of rainfall from some thunderstorms here in Northern California, so I was out enjoying that. But it's draining. Outside the Reno area, south of Sparks, still seeing a little bit of earthquake activity out here. Let me see what we got for the last 7 days. There's just been a little swarm of activity out here. Specifically within this mountain range, looking at 132 earthquakes. And that's a lot, isn't it? For really no main quake out here. I think the largest one we've seen is 3.5. So it looks as though maybe something still could be brewing out there around the area in terms of some larger scale movement. I don't believe this is volcanic. 7 to 8 kilometers or so. There's definitely a lot of fault systems out here. Let's see what we got. What is out here exactly? What is this place? I think maybe somebody mentioned here recently, but I overlooked it. This looks like some type of mining operations out here. Not for sure exactly what it is, but yeah, kind of interesting. If anyone knows, let me know in this update video. I'll keep my eyes open for your comment. Outside of Reno. Let's see what else we got here for the California region. Little swarm going on up here outside the San Mateo area. We also had a little swarm down here a little bit further on the plate boundary as well. So two different regions showing some elevated activity out here. A little concerning. The last one was a 1.8 down here in this cluster. Nothing big going on here, but when we see that adjustment taking place up and down the plate boundary like this, definitely could be of some concern here. A small handful of quakes up north here as well into the bay. So just keep an eye on it. There's lots of areas out here that are well overdue, right? Along California and many other areas. A little earthquake outside of the Rancho Cucamonga area, 1.4. No major swarming going on here across the southern end of the San Andreas Fault for now. Definitely continue to watch that, though. Overall, seismic activity, since Hawaii's been, showing some elevated activity out here with the volcanoes, it almost seems like we're waiting for something to happen here out across the western regions. It almost seems like Hawaii is being squeezed in between the east here and the west, and that we're just kind of waiting for some movement to maybe limit the amount of activity that's stirring out there in Hawaii. Just kind of an observation here, because it's been awfully quiet out here across the Pacific in general. Yes, there's a handful of 4s and maybe some 5s out here in the last 24 hours, but really these are just some smaller quakes compared to what we normally see. Really not seeing any huge clustering going on out here. There's a little bit, but nothing like we normally see. And Japan, Kuril Kamchatka, all these areas are super duper quiet for some reason. New Zealand did have a little bit of activity. It looks like a 4-pointer down there into the North Island area. So let's go see what's going on there real quick. I'm tired. I'm going to call it a night after this. Not even joking. A 3.9 8 hours ago, just off the North Island coast there, about 26 kilometers deep, northeast of Gisborne, North Island, New Zealand area. 2.3 here as well. So a little bit of earthquake activity ramping up. Doesn't look like anything major going on here, but similar to California or any other major region that's overdue for earthquake activity. Just got to be on guard and stay be prepared, so to speak. There's that earthquake there in question there, northeast of I think it was northeast, just outside the Gisborne area. Aside from that, really not seeing any really not seeing anything of value out here as far as the earthquake drums go. All right, there's that earthquake activity outside of Japan. Nothing going on up here across the Kuril Kamchatka. Whoa, what's going on out in the rest of the world? Anything? A handful of smaller quakes, it looks like. Some fours out here. Typical movement across the Mediterranean, and it looks like we got some newer activity once again there in Iceland. So let's go check it out, see what's going on over there. Iceland activity, earthquake activity. Whoa, oh man. Here we go. So getting a little bit of it's a 3.2 a couple hours or so ago, it looks like. A little bit of swarming going on here. That's out here away from Grindavik, out here across this other rift zone, well to the northeast. Grindavik, specifically right here, seeing a handful of earthquakes as well. Got to continue to watch that. This migration pattern that we witnessed here back in December, then January, takes us closer to underneath the Grindavik area. And I just don't think we're done with that movement yet. The latest update from earlier still stated that the increased likelihood of an eruption is current. And far as the time frame that it takes to accumulate enough magma below the surface to create another eruption is about, I think we're coming up on it here within the next couple weeks or so. Here they mentioned that approximately 6.5 million cubic meters of magma has accumulated beneath the Svartsengi region. And according to their assessment here, magma will soon reach the same volume that was drained back in the January 2024 eruption. So we could be looking at 2 weeks or possibly days before another volcanic eruption out here. And these guys, their latest map here shows Zone 3 as the most hazardous area. I'm still kind of thinking, though, it could be a little spot up here in between these two eruption areas, or it could be potentially down here in the Grindavik. I know they have it in a less active area, but this is still remaining very elevated in terms of inflation. So got to go with what the data is showing and telling me. We'll continue to watch that. Let's see what else we got here, folks. Look at all the earthquake activity. That's just crazy amount of movement there at Kilauea Volcano without anything going on right now. I mean, far as, eruptive activity, definitely soon will be, though. Did I happen to show... Let me go back over here before we go to space weather. Space weather is kind of kicking up slightly. I just wanted to double check the deformation data here. There's a downward trend, a sharp downward deflation event. That means magma has moved away from the summit region. Past 5 years. Let's see here. I thought they had something else out here. I wanted to look at a couple different tilt meter stations out here, and unfortunately they don't really have a whole lot of tilt meters out here specifically where this earthquake activity is occurring. There's the summit regions. There's one right here that is going all crazy. That took actually when that magma moved south, obviously this area is going to move up, right? So that's kind of goes along with what I've been stating, that we've seen a displacement in the magma from the summit region further to the southwest rift zone. This area went up while the summit region went down. So obviously that means that, well, again, I think it's going to be out here. We're going to see that eruptive fissure activity. And the thing is, how long is it going to take? I mean, I think the more and more that we see this earthquake activity here and build up, it could be a little bit more dynamic and dramatic, so to speak. Nothing going on up there. That's not even active. Some of these tilt meters, I don't know. I guess I'll get to them eventually, right? Here's the UWE tilt. Again, past 30 days. Something broke right here, right? It found its way to a weaker area underground towards the southwest rift zone. All right, space weather activity. We did see a very sharp M flare. Like an impulsive type flare that, as you can see right here, very low grade. It was an M, I don't know exactly what it was, M, they don't even have it on here. But it came from one of these sunspots here facing the Earth. It does look like things are getting kind of active out here. When they were looking, well, this morning it was looking kind of quiet. So let's see what's going on here. Obviously, we've got a couple of regional sunspots out here, numerous sunspots. But, man, I'm not really seeing anything that's shown any huge, complex structure. But, looks like maybe some of these may be growing. This one over here, a couple different spots here. Definitely have to keep an eye on it. But overall threat's not huge right now. 90% chance for a C flare, M flare at 25, X flare around 5% chance. I don't think we're going to see an X flare, but that's what's up there. And as far as the aurora goes, not a whole lot. Fairly quiet. All right, the weather outlook here. A lot of people have been, pulling the, well, California. Goodness, I want to show you guys something here real quick. The rest of the country, there's going to be some changes, but right now the area of interest is California, the West, Los Angeles. I'm going to get quite a bit of rain here. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. But this storm system here, looking a lot more dynamic than what it did this morning. These things change left and right. I'm hoping it stays like this because it does show a very powerful low pressure system kind of developing and strengthening right about the time it hits California. And right now, the GFS model run shows more of a northerly run, but the Los Angeles area down there is going to get that fire hose effect right here. It's going to... This is the frontal boundary, so to speak, and it's aiming all that moisture right there at Southern California. That's where the most accumulation rates are, the highest ones are. But they're in Northern California as well, so we're going to get some decent rain. I'm glad it's looking better. And then we got another one behind that, and then maybe a little break. But I want to show you guys the total accumulated precipitation out here. For this storm system. I think it's right about here. This one kind of backed off a little bit. This one's showing about 3 to 4 inches down there across Los Angeles. Maybe a little bit more in the mountain ranges, it looks like. Let's go check out a different model. Go see here. I think it was windy that I was checking out. Rain accumulation here. The ECMWF model, next 5 days. Yeah, this one's a little off. This one's showing not so much of a impact here across Northern California, with the brunt of the moisture hitting down there in Southern California. Ventura, 14 inches of rain. This would be unprecedented type activity there. Some big-time flooding may be taking place if this holds true. 8 inches of rain around Los Angeles, maybe locally higher. That is a little on the scary side. The GFS model backs off a little bit here on the rainfall accumulation rates and shows a lot more up into Northern California. So, take your pick. I'm more of a GFS model believer, but we'll see what happens, I guess. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. All right, folks. I am out of here. I am just burned out right now. A lot of earthquake activity happening, and it's just a matter of time before it happens, and it erupts here. You know, is there potential that we could see maybe something open up even further south? It's hard to say. I mean, we got the Loihi Seamount out here. All right, who's to say something may not pop off out here if this continues? I don't know. It's an interesting one here, but I don't think it's going to happen there at the summit. We watched that drop like crazy, and then we've seen this area inflate and build up all this pressure and earthquake activity. So I guess we'll see what happens. But either way, hey, it is very, very, very interesting here. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Yay. Have a good one, and, make sure you guys subscribe while you're here. Click the notification bell on the YouTube channel here. That way you guys can get notified when we go live or when we do provide updates. Member drawing is coming up here on the 15th of February. We do member drawings every single month. We have been for almost 2 years now. We give away prizes to the members here. Just kind of our way of giving back there to those that like to support us. Have a good one. We'll catch you guys back here in the morning.